to speak from the heart and listen to others actively. We can also reflect on what we have learned and appreciate the opportunity to connect with our peers. Restorative circles are great tools for building communication, community, and relationships in the classroom. Thank you for your time.
Gabby, good job. Thank you. Springfield Public Day Middle School is in the house. Leopoldo Navarro Curette, supported by Linda Singer, assistant principal, Jasmine Milner, nurse, and Bethany Smith, math teacher. And if I pronounce your name wrong, please correct me. Yes.
Right, many apologies. I just called Mom and she's working hard on getting him on. So you can check back with us at the end, but
Yes.
right now he's not here.
We
I'm
will.
sorry.
We will.
Okay.
Thank you very much. We'll get back. Springfield Middle School is in the house. Naya Rodriguez Lanzano, supported by Linda Singer, assistant principal, Jasmine Milner, nurse, and Katrina Zarillo, science teacher. Naya?
So all the staff, once again, I'm sorry, all
Okay.
the staff,
No
all
problem.
the staff are here and we haven't gotten a hold of the family. We practiced and
That's okay.
took our computer home and she's not here either. I'm sorry.
I still have an Etch-a-Sketch, so don't worry about that. I'll get
Okay.
back to you. South End Middle School is in the house. Abadi Wahab, and I pronounced that wrong, Hussein, please correct me, supported by their direct principal there, Yara De Palma Gonzalez.
Hi, good evening, Mayor Sarno. And
How are
good
you?
evening. I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Good, thanks.
We had an exciting student versus faculty volleyball today, so I'm a little tired, but here we are.
Did you
Good
win?
evening,
Did you
Sarno.
win?
The faculty won.
You covered the spread?
Took no prisoners.
Okay.
It was awesome. Good evening, Mayor Sarno, Superintendent Warwick, esteemed school committee members. I'm proud to introduce to you Abdi Wahab Hussein,
Abdi Wahab.
8th grader student representative from South End Middle School. Abdi is an exemplary student, an exemplary peer, an exemplary friend. He's well liked and respected by both his peers and teachers alike. And really, what's not to be admired? He's a maximum honor student. He's got great attendance and he has a passion for showing school spirit. And he's a founding member of our South End Middle School Student Advisory Council. And we just learned that he got his first high school choice, Putnam Vocational Academy.
All right.
He will be there this fall. They're very lucky to have him. He is right here next to me. So without further ado, I present to you Abdi.
Thank you, Madam Principal. Abdi? How you doing, Abdi? And congratulations on Putnam.
Thank you so much. Good evening, school committee members, Superintendent Warwick, school administrators, and honored guests. My name is Abdul Hussein, and I'm an 8th grade student attending South End Middle School. I have been at South End since the beginning of 7th grade, and I've seen some profound changes over the last 2 years. Some changes are occurring as we find a new normal after the worst of the pandemic. A lot of new things have been brought by our new principal and assistant principal. When I got to South End, I found that the school was more welcoming than I thought it would be, and it has been improving over time. Our sports, clubs, classes, and overall energy of the school are revitalized and expanding. We just applied our skills in English language arts over the 2 days of MCAS exams, our first this spring. Teachers are getting creative to reward students for positive behavior. We have held raffles rewarding good attendance, a board game party for improved behavior, and are recognizing students of the month in each grade. Guess who was the 8th grader chosen in October? Sports have returned to South End. Our soccer and basketball team wrapped up fun seasons. We played other middle school teams around the city and were coached by our own Ms. Brand, Mr. Bashon, and Mr. Mappin. While our volleyball team is preparing for a spring season of their own. Good luck, South End Lions. Our students are enjoying our sport teams and the opportunity to try some new things in middle school. We are creating more opportunities for students here at South End. We have taken and planned some field trips, such as going to see the Thunderbirds, participating in Echoes in Forest Park, and visiting UMass Amherst, where we saw women's basketball teams in action. Our teachers and administrators are supporting a variety of students clubs like art clubs, mock trial, step team, and band. I'm involved in our art club. I am also a member of the South End Student Advisory Council. We work with a teacher advisor and collaborate with our administrators to plan fun events for South End students, which builds school spirit and a sense of community. This is a means to bring student voices to life in the school. Student advisory works in communities to inform decisions about our school in areas of budgeting, outreach, and advertising. Excuse me. Our first big event was the first school dance in over a decade. The Glow in the Dark dance was just last Thursday and was a big success. I saw kids from all 3 grades having fun in our own gym. Moving forward, we are providing input on Spirit Week, pep rallies, and the end of the year celebrations. This body will grow as South End continues its reinvention and build more student-centered adventures. Finally, my friends and I are preparing to transition to high school. We will bring with us memories and experiences we shared here at South End, which have been made more meaningful through our collaborations with our teachers and principals. Sincerely, thank you for inviting me to speak with you this evening about all our positive activities at South End Middle School.
Nice job, Abdi, nice job. And thank you for bringing up middle school sports. The school committee, current and past, worked very hard. We wanted to bring back middle school sports, and we're so happy it's continuing to be so successful. Nice job, Abdi, nice job. Springfield High School's in the house. Mason, Ireland, Xavier Acosta, supported by Principal Roberto Ortiz, Assistant Principal Roberto Ortiz. Please.
Good evening, everyone. Today I have the honor to introduce 2 of our 10th grader. Our first 10th grader is Mason Island, and Mason wants to pursue a career as an entrepreneur and eventually own his own business. So Mason, take it away. And he's probably one of the most popular students in our school. I'm not sure I get that in. Let's go, Mason.
Good evening, Mayor Sarno and Superintendent Warwick. I am Mason Ireland, a student at Springfield High School, located at the alternative school campus in Forest Park area. I am a sophomore. Over the last 2 years, I have had many good experiences at school. The school has great teachers and staff and an amazing assistant principal, Mr. Ortiz. They all care for the students and treat us like we are a family. The teachers are very understanding and helpful. They give us the help we need and lots of one-on-one attention. Also, I really enjoy the PBIS incentives program. This program rewards us when we are productive, accountable, and kind. We can earn membership like a gold card. We can have discounts at the school store and free spots for field trips. We have a community meeting to celebrate on birthdays and get awards for our excellence in class. My school is preparing me for my future. My goals are to practice being a scholar here at Springfield High School so I can graduate and go to college. I would like to go to a college where I can learn how to be an entrepreneur. I see myself owning a car dealership in the Springfield area I hope to be a part of making my home city of Springfield a better place to live.
Nice job, Mason. Thank you.
All right, our next student is Xavier Acosta, and his dream is to make it in the music industry.
Okay.
And today he will share his English project, his project-based assessment with you guys. Floor is yours, Xavier. Let's go.
Thank you, Assistant Principal Ortiz.
Thank you, Mr. Ortiz. Hello, my name is Xavier Acosta, and to continue off of what my principal was saying, students in my ALA class and at my school are assigned PBAs. PBAs meaning project-based assessments, and we're giving them every month, and they're worth 80% of our grade. The project I'm going to be showing you today came with a few different options, and one of those options was to create a song. Now with the song, it came with prompt, and with that prompt, it influenced my track and how I went about making it. The prompt follows as using rhetoric. Rhetoric is a form of persuasion to sway your audience's opinion or the way they think about your piece. And with that comes 3 forms: logos, pathos, and ethos. I use pathos, and the prompt was to pretend as if I've been broken up with, and I'm trying to win the girl back. So with that, I found the beat, wrote the lyrics, made a music video that sadly I cannot show you due to the restrictions, but I can play the track for you guys to hear, and that's what I'll be presenting to you. So it is a 4-minute track. It is a little lengthy, but I hope that's not an issue, right?
Go right ahead, Mr. The next Bruno Mars. You got all the jargon down there.
Thank you. Well, I present to you my my PBA project. I've been reflecting on the past, been reflecting on what we had. I've been writing down these lyrics, getting caught up in my bag. Remember how it ended, took my heart and hit the dash. And with all that being said, I've still been trying to win you back. I heard you got a new one and he probably hold it down. And I know you probably happy, but I just hope you hear my sound. I've been treading through the waters and it feel like my heart drowned. Just give me one more chance and I could promise you won't frown. Seeing recent posts and I can see you wear a crown. Look through all your comments, I can see it clearly now. I truly had a queen and I'm the one that let you down. I truly was the one that was out here just playing around. Regretting my decisions, regretting the things I did. Regretting how I treated you, I see where you try to quit. Try to better myself for you, I ain't trying to be like these kids. Let's hope it's not too late, but I know that it probably is. Just tell me where you stand, I ain't writing this for no reason. I've been trying to win you back because I haven't lost these feelings. I've been going through the storm and I'm hoping it's for a reason. And I hope at the end of this tunnel, love and you're the healing. I never needed you any more than I need you now. I thank you for your time, but it's hoping you hear me out. I know you left you hurt and it's something I carry now. It's weighing on my shoulders, it's something that bring me down. I'm not proud of what I did and I know that it made you frown. I know it left you hurt, so you probably just hate me now. I'm the only one to blame, cause you always just held it down. You was never playing games, and I promise I praise you now. Just tell me what to do, cause I feel like I'm in a drought. Just tell me what to do, cause I'm trying to make it out. I've been fighting for your love, but it feels like a point spout. Just because we was had, I'm thinking you stomped it out. Cause I know you probably gave more something we used to have. I know you probably took our love and threw it in the trash. I know you probably only me that stuck up in a bag. And I know you probably hated me because I made you sad. But I promise I'm a changed man. I promise you I said that. I put in all this time and work, but you will probably cash that. Because it's on the past, but I promise it's nothing like that. I'm trying to write a story, I'm just hoping you don't indict that. Can't blame you for the way you feel, cause I'm the one that caused that. Can't blame you for the things you say, cause I know I deserve that. But I blame you for not seeing me for me, cause I'm a new man. Hoping you give me another chance so we can count plans. And I can buy you new bands and I can get you new friends. The ones that really care about you, hold it down until the end. And give you a better life cause I'm your #1 fan. Give me one more chance, I promise we gon' ride it till the end. I've been waiting for your text, I've been waiting for your call. I've been waiting for the one time you gon' hit me up to ball. I've been feeling gloomy, I've been feeling like the leaves in fall. Baby on your past, but I promise you ain't get that far. Just wanna hear your voice one more time, but I ain't get that call. Wanna ride it to the end, but you don't really like this car. I'm trying to go up to the moon, I'm trying to take you up to Mars. You're not trying to pot of gold, I promise you the brightest star. But during the time I was close, but now I watch it fall. Wishing it was me and you, but I went out and broke your heart. In my room and writing lyrics, I've been left up in the dark. Kindling it definitely, but I'm trying to start another spark. We can have a new life and I promise we gon' make it fall. We can live the life that everyone else is just wishing for. In a million wants and needs, we could walk through an open door. Together on this path that you ain't never seen before. Promise that I love you, we can have a kid and maybe more. Love you to the fullest, I don't care if it's gonna make me fall. Worth all of the pain and I'm a word like a winter coat. Give me all your love and time, I promise we'll forever grow. And that you see the change, I'm hoping that you hear me. I promise that I'm here for life, I'm hoping you don't fear me. I'm hoping that you see the change, I promise this is real me. Never leave you hurt again, I promise it's just you and me.
Hey, Mr. Acosta, way to go.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And I like that you had all the musical terms and the genre of that and everything. And so continue to
Thank
apply
you, I
yourself there and see what apply yourself in school. And hey, who knows? Next Bruno Mars, way to go. Way to go.
This actually isn't the type of music that I make, but I really do appreciate it. I put a lot into this project
Yeah.
and it took a lot of time. So I appreciate all the support and all
Appreciate
the claps that you guys gave
you.
me. Dan.
Nice job. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, we'll go to Springfield Public Day High School, Nelson Rojas Martinez, supported by Assistant Principal Robert Porter and teachers Shanice Reed and Kimberly Thibodeau. Please.
Hello, everyone. Hi, my name is Ms. Reed, and I'm here to introduce the wonderful Nelson.
Thank you.
Hi, Mayor Sarno. I know you saw me, I think, a couple days ago.
Oh, yeah. How you doing?
I'm actually doing good. I have your friend up out here. He also wanted to say hi. Wait, that before the end.
Hello, right back.
Okay, so good evening. My name is Nelson Rojas. I am a
evening.
junior at Springfield Public Day High School. Today, I would like to shout out 3 educators from our building, Miss Moore, Miss Cooper, and Miss Closser. I would like to shout them for giving me the opportunity to expand my knowledge on climate change and show off my artistic skills by creating a poster highlighting about what we can do to slow climate change, but most of all, allowing me to be used as an example to show that smaller schools have the same potential as larger ones. I was also to showcase my knowledge and artwork at the Springfield Museum. I even got to meet Mayor Sarno. Being a part of this project made me feel nervous at first. Time went on, I grew more and more confident in my abilities. Being part of this project made I would like to also thank a few more educators for helping me in my daily life, including our principal, Mr. Porter, Ms. Reed, Ms. Dupont, Dr. Martin, and Mr. Roseman. They all play a role in my success. Thank you for listening, and have a great rest of the school year.
Nice job, Nelson. Yeah, you did a great job at the Springfield Science Museum. It was late last week, and the presentation was great. And please tell your family members it was great to meet them. But you really did it. All the young men and young ladies really did a great job, and I was glad to make it that evening to see each and every one of you. Thanks so much, Nelson. Thank you. Okay, we're going to try to go back to Springfield Public Day Middle School.
Okay, here, I have your little gift for you.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes, we have Leo here. So Leo, you want to turn on your camera, and we're all ready to hear you.
All right, Leo DiCaprio. Okay. Leo Navarro Curette. And supported by Assistant Principal Linda Singer, Jasmine Milner, nurse, and Bethany Smith, math teacher. Hey, Leo, how you doing?
How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
Good evening. My name is Leopoldo Navarro, and today I'll be talking about my experiences at Public Day Middle School. When coming to this school, when coming to Public Day Middle School, I was often distracted by my peers, but I soon realized that people like Mr. Garcia, Miss Trish, and Miss Smith, and many others are positive influences and don't want me to go off the wrong track. But I really do try hard as I do for my mother, who has never given up on me and has been by my side. She motivates me to do good. This drives me to do good in school so I can go to college and pursue my career. I moved to Springfield, Mass. And this is my first school I have been to in the state of Massachusetts. I can say the first school, damn.
You're doing fine, Leo. You're doing fine. Happens every one of us. You're doing fine, Leo. Take your time.
This is the first school I have been to in the state of Massachusetts. I can say that this school has been preparing me for high school, not only behaviorally, but also academically. I have one of the highest reading levels in the school, and I also enjoy ELA because my teacher, Mr. Dutton, gives me remarkably interesting work, but challenging. That also makes me want to do. No, I'm just reading. Remarkably interesting work, but challenging. That makes me want to do the work. I do not like math too much, but Miss Smith makes it a little bit better. Also, there is a level in the school called Baby Blue. To be eligible, you have to have at least 95 to 100 points weekly average. This also motivates me to do good and get good points every week. I have been eligible for Baby Blue for 10 weeks, about 2.5 months. In conclusion, coming from another state, I did not think this school would be a good fit, but now being here for some months, I do think this is a great fit.
Nice job, Leo. Good job. Springfield Middle School, Naya Rodriguez Lanzano, and again, the supporting cast of Assistant Principal Linda Singer, Jasmine Miller, nurse, and Katarina, Zarrillo. If I pronounce your name wrong, science teacher, please correct me.
And unfortunately, we don't have our Naya still. So she was a little bit shy and it's a hard thing to do.
Oh.
And I admire her for the preparation. She wrote a speech. And so, you know, those are really good, important things. We just weren't able to get to this part.
That's so you, Naya, if you're listening and watching, it happens to each and every one of us. We all get little butterflies in our stomach, but we regenerate that into adrenaline, head, heart, and gut, and do it. And I know you can do it too. So we look forward to hearing from you in the future. That concludes the student representative presentations. And yes. Yes,
She went to all
that'd be
that
great,
time.
Mr. Collins.
She went to all that time prepared. Maybe they could mail a speech to us.
Yeah, if she could send the paper, what she wrote to us, we'd appreciate that.
I will 100% do that in the morning.
Very
Thank
good,
you.
very good. That concludes our,
Excuse me. I would just like to ask one thing. If I would if I would be able to like plug my SoundCloud, so that way like I can put my music out there. I know I'm not trying to sound selfish, but it's just to like, you know what I'm saying? Put myself out there.
Say that again,
opportunity.
Mr. Acosta. Say that again, please.
I would like to, so in the chat, I would like to put where I've published music, so there'd be like anyone who would like to view my music would be able to see
I
it.
see you took the marketing end of this deal too. Go,
I mean, I just want to.
good for you. Go right ahead. Go right.
Yeah.
The kid's got moxie. I like that. I like that. Go right ahead, Mr. Acosta.
So then that's my SoundCloud. That's where I put my music. So like, if you guys really want to check that out, I would really appreciate it.
Okay.
It would mean a lot. I'm trying to do something here, you know.
Okay.
Pursue my dream.
All right. Bruno
thank
Mars
you.
to be. Thank you. That concludes student representative presentations. Very unique and great tonight. We'll take maybe a 1 or 2 minute recess, and then you're more than welcome to stay on, and we'll start our regularly scheduled meeting. Thank you.
Wait, so that means I can leave? Huh? No? Yeah? No?
Yes, Mason, you can leave.
Okay, thank you. Bye, miss.
Wait, can I leave too?
All students can leave if you want to. Yes, it's over for the student presentation. And you all did a wonderful job.
We just take a minute or so recess before we start. Yeah, that's why I smell like smoke. Yeah. But they did a hell of a job knocking it down. We were on site. We had to protect the Ray Jordan Center, the houses in the neighborhood, L School, 15 acres. Well, no, we've had a few smaller ones last couple days, or yesterday especially, but
You're good to go.
good evening. We'll call the school committee meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. And for the record, School Committee Woman Denise Hurst again is virtual tonight. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms.
Present.
Hurst? Attorney
Present.
Murphy? Mr. Gonzalez?
Here.
Mr. Collins?
Here.
Ms. Gresham?
Present.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Present.
Mayor Sarno?
Present. If we could all please rise for a moment of silence, I'd like to dedicate it to our CFO's father, Pat Roach, who had passed away recently. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, everyone. And before we start, I'd also like to offer congratulations to one of our brave men and women in blue. Tonight, Officer Steve Tatro. You never see him on camera, but he's been a long time. Been here for school committee meetings, and Steve is retiring. So thank you for your dedicated, brave years of service. I'd also like to say to my colleagues, I apologize for the smoke smell. It's not my new aftershave of musk of smoke, but just to let everybody know, we're on site of a major brush fire at Blum Park, adjacent to the Raymond Jordan Senior Center and to Blum Park, the fields, and to L School. I want to commend, just got back a little while ago, commend Fire Commissioner B.J. Calvey and our firefighters and the mutual aid. We do that with other cities and towns when they need help. Longmeadow, Agawam, and Westside that came to get even more water to us. 15 acres. They did a hell of a job of knocking it down, putting a fire line in there to protect the homes in the neighborhood area and the Raymond Jordan Senior Center and L School. So I just get a report that it seems to be under control, and I'm very happy. But again, to all the firefighters and the state also, MEMA was there, but that could have been a matchbox with all the woods and the dryness, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. So again, I apologize for my smoke smell. With that, we'll go to approval of the minutes. Any questions or comments? This is the minutes of March 16, 2023 School Committee regular session. A motion? Motion by Mr. Collins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gresham. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient vote. This matter passes. With the indulgence of the school committee, because we have a long agenda from last meeting we couldn't get through, we have a couple special proclamations, and I'm sure that school committee members want to comment for our paraprofessionals and for the Eastman oratorical thing. Kaylee, if we can go out of order and do those out of the way without any objection, then we can go on with the rest of the meeting. Is that okay? Okay, so why don't we, Kathy Mastronardi is at conference, so Vice President Kim Thompson should be on the line for paraprofessionals, and I'm sure that all my colleagues will want to comment. Kim, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Ms. Thompson. And tell Kathy we said hello.
I definitely will.
We were doing this last week, and then we had technical difficulties. So, and I'm sure my colleagues are going to want to comment, but Kathy had reached out probably a few weeks ago or a month or so ago for having a Paraprofessionals Day. So let me read this, and then I'm going to open up to my colleagues. City of Springfield, Massachusetts, Mayor Dominic J. Sarno, home of the Basketball Hall of Fame. Proclamation. Whereas paraprofessionals provide support and instructional support, language support, behavioral support, and physical and medical support within a school setting. These professionals are crucial supports to students within our city. While some paraprofessionals work with one class, others work individually with one student. This may range from small groups of students who have IEPs to 504s. And whereas the job of a paraprofessional includes multitasking, encouragement, and serving as additional layer of support within the school, Paraprofessionals know when to intervene and support a student as well as when to encourage them to be independent. They help shape young minds and are impactful in their students' and lives. And whereas the City of Springfield is proud to join with the Springfield Federation of Paraprofessionals to recognize all our paraprofessionals for their hard work, dedication, passion for education, and our city's youth, their work does not go unnoticed. It is extremely important to the success of our Springfield Public School students. Therefore, I, Dominic J. Sarno, Mayor of the City of Springfield, do hereby recognize, and again, we were doing this last week, Wednesday, April 5th, 2023 is Paraprofessional Day in the City of Springfield. I strongly encourage all our citizens to take notice of this, but also to be thankful for the nurturing, caring, and compassionate efforts you put across to our students. And I hand wrote here to Kathy M. and crew, thank you for all your continued dedicated efforts and nurturing our students. Congrats, good health, and God bless. And Kathy has received the official proclamation too. So congratulations on that. And with that, I will turn it over to our school committee members and Superintendent Warwick, because I know they're going to want to comment. And then Kim, you will close out this part of the Paraprofessional Congratulations Day. Congratulations.
Okay.
School committee members?
Sure, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Collins?
You know, paraprofessionals are a vital part of the educational team, and often they are some of the people in the schools who are the closest to students. And we've been talking a lot of late of mental health of students. They have always been a vital link and for the mental health of our students, and sometimes the closest link. So I'm very proud of our paraprofessionals and the way the relationships they have with the students and what they mean to the students in Springfield.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Any other school committee members?
I would like to.
Vice Chair Naylor?
I totally agree with Mr. Collins on the importance and value that our paraprofessionals bring to the education system in general, but also especially to our students here in the city of Springfield. I cannot tell you the number of students that talk to us about their para educator in the room and how valued they are, how supported they are by them, and just the ability for them to connect. You all do a phenomenal job, and you need to be recognized, not just here with our citation, but also by your students, by the families that you serve, because you do such a great job, and of course by your peers in your building. So thank you again for everything that you do. Continue to do what you do, and even when we look at the pipeline of teachers, you know, who were paraprofessionals, you know, it's just. It was a very creative way to move, and I'm so happy that we did it that way, Superintendent, under your leadership. And I'm so excited that they are, you know, there's people that I know that are paraprofessionals right now that I don't think would have ever gotten to the school system but for that opportunity. And so anyways, I don't want to keep going on, but I just want to make sure that y'all know that we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Naylor. And that's important you bring up, because we create that pipeline that paraprofessionals financial support can go on and become teachers on it. Ms. Gresham?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say congratulations to Kathy and her team. I have seen the paraprofessionals in action, and you can see the compassion and love that they have for their students, so well deserved.
Thank you, Ms. Gresham. Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say to all of our paraprofessionals, echoing the words of the colleagues here, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I know that, you know, my comments this evening, it's important because my wife day in and day out tells me about all the hard work that paras put in. So I want to say thank you, not only to the folks like my wife, but so many other people that occupy those positions of different race and ethnic background, because they do play an important role in our district. So thank you. And thank you, Mr. Mayor, for preparing the proclamation.
Thank you. My pleasure. Any other school committee members? Hearing none, I'll go to Superintendent Warwick.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I just want to say, as a longtime principal and special education teacher, I know the value paras have day in and day out with our kids. And they are sometimes the closest link with our kids, but the array of services they provide day in and day out are vital to our students, and we so appreciate what you do, and we love the folks that are stepping forward and moving forward to teaching positions. That's a really important for the district, and to have folks come in with the array of experience that you have from being a paraprofessional. We find folks are very, very successful right at the start. So keep up the great work, and we appreciate what you do day in and day out. And from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Warwick. Any other school committee members? Okay, hearing none. Again, there was another request we were going to do last week, and this is for the Eastman Corporation, the old Solutia, and they do a oratorical contest, second year in a row, and with Superintendent Warwick. And I want to thank President Robert Johnson at Western New England University. He hosted us, and this is for SciTech specifically, very generous scholarships. And each and every one of the students, I was there to open and stay for the whole thing, did a great job, and the camaraderie between the students was outstanding. What a friendship that they had. But the winner was Kaylee Rose Van Sant. Kaylee, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
And tell your mom I said hello, too.
Oh,
So,
you said hi.
Oh, you know what? Wait a minute. Time out. I have to go back to Kim Thompson, because I'm sure the paraprofessionals, I'm sure she wanted to say a few things. That's my fault. Kim?
On behalf of the
My
Springfield.
apologies.
It's okay. On behalf of the Federation, I'd like to say thank you for all the kind words you said about us, and I agree with you 100%. And I'd also like to accept and thank you for the proclamation.
Thank you, Kim. That's on behalf of all of us. Thank you, Kim. And my best to Kathy. Kaylee, I apologize for that false start, but you're back on. That's my fault. But we have, again, there was a request for a proclamation. City of Springfield, Massachusetts, Mayor Dominic J. Sarno, home of the Basketball Hall of Fame. Whereas Kaylee Rose Van Sant is a proud senior at Springfield High School of Science and Technology, SciTech, where she serves on the SciTech Student Council and as a teen youth leader at the Y-AIM program. And again, hello to your mom. With the YMCA in Greater Springfield. Kaylee is a member of the After Dark program, which allows her to obtain an accelerated IT certification. And we have a number of interns in IT now in City Hall. Certification along with her high school diploma through vocational training at Putnam Academy. And Superintendent, glad we formed that program. Whereas Kaylee is a diligent student with a bright future ahead of her. After recently losing her father, God rest his soul, Kaylee has demonstrated her resilience and drive to accomplishing goals she had set for herself. Earlier this year, Kaylee was named the winner of the second annual Eastman Black History Month oratorical contest held at Western New England University. Kaylee submitted an essay about George Washington Carver, agricultural scientist best known for developing hundreds of uses for the peanut. She presented it to the panel of judges and was selected for first prize based on the quality of her essay and for her diction, tone, pronunciation, and creativity. And whereas the City of Springfield is honored to join today to congratulate Miss Kaylee Van Sant on winning the Eastman's 2023 Black History Month oratorical contest and wish her continued success. Therefore, I, Dominic J. Sarno, Mayor of the City of Springfield, do hereby proclaim Thursday, April 13th, 2023, as Kaylee Rose Van Sant Day in the City of Springfield. And I encourage all our residents not only to acknowledge this event, but also her dedication, commitment of the honoree. And I hand wrote here, great job, continued success, good health, and God bless. And a P.S. again, hello to your mom. Kaylee, congratulations, and I'm sure that school committee members and Superintendent Warwick would like to say a few words before we end with you, and I won't forget to end with you. So school committee members.
And she's a shining example.
Mr. Collins?
I mean, Springfield has so many unbelievable students, and it's nice to see this kind of thing be out forward rather than negativity. And it just shows the talent and the unbelievable talent that we have in our student body.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Mr. Gonzalez.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I mean, what can you expect? It's from SciTech. So what can you expect? Only the best from that school as an alum. So I want to say congratulations to you, Kaylee. Again, thank you, Mr. Mayor, for acknowledging the hard work of an example of our student body. So thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Any other comments from school committee members?
I just want to say,
Mr.
thank you, Mr. Mayor. I
Gresham?
just want to say congratulations to Kaylee. Job well done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gresham. Any other school committee members?
I would like to say something, Mr. Mayor.
Vice Chair Naylor?
Congratulations and keep going onward and upward.
Thank you,
Thank
Vice
you.
Chair. Any other school committee members? Superintendent Warwick?
Kaylee, congratulations. We're so proud of you, and we're so proud of all the kids at SciTech. What a tremendous turnaround that school has engaged in over the last several years. Some of the best improvements in Massachusetts. So we're so very proud of you. And just a shout out to Eastman, because they've just been a great corporate citizen, constantly looking for ways to support the city and our kids in our schools. So thank you to the folks there.
They have been a good corporate citizen during COVID. They made those laptop or neat for the kids, so the computers, they could use it on their computers on it. So it was fantastic on that. And Kaylee, we will get this, the proclamation to you at SciTech. And with that, the floor is yours.
1 second.
I know you can do it. You did it in Western New England University, Kaylee, so I know you can do it.
A little nervous. I wanted to say thank you all for this opportunity. It is an honor, and I hope to do more proud things in the future and impress you all.
Thank you, Kaylee. Thank you to the school committee for the indulgence in doing that. We'll go back to the agenda. We'll move to Section 3 voting items. A is to approve a field trip request for Zanetti School to travel to Redgate Farm, which we go to many a times, May 1st, 2023, returning May 3rd, 2023. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. The form is in your packet. We've had a lot of trips to Redgate Farm. It's been very popular. Recommending approval. There are people from the school here if you have any questions. Tara Clark and part of her team.
Thank you, Superintendent Warwick. Any questions or comments? Hearing no, motion by Attorney Peter Murphy. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gonzalez. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call a roll.
Ms. Hurst? Ms. Hurst?
Yes, I'm sorry, I couldn't find my mute button.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient vote. This matter passes. Thank you. B is to approve field trip request for Putnam Academy to travel to the Skills USA competition. These are the redcoats. I love when they wear their redcoats. This is to Atlanta, Georgia, on June 19th, 2023, returning on June 23rd, 2023. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Yes, again, the form is in your packet to review, and we have staff from here from Putnam to answer any questions. The Skills USA competition has been great for our kids. They've already advanced beyond the local, so it's a great opportunity, so I recommend approval.
Thank you, Superintendent Warwick. Any questions or comments?
I have one question.
Yes, Vice Chair Monroe Naylor.
I think I already know the answer to this, but when we have these kind of competitions, does the school district cover the cost for the children to travel, or are they expected to have cover their own costs?
Well, I don't think the kids are covering the cost. No.
Okay.
No.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Thank you, Superintendent Warwick. Any questions or comments?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Gonzalez. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Collins. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient vote. This matter passes. Thank you. C is to approve a field trip request for Central High School to travel to Tulsa, Oklahoma on May 8th, 2023, returning on May 11th, 2023. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, there's a form in your packet on this. There's a great trip because there's some great history in Tulsa. It's the site of the 1921 massacre, so it's great historic significance for the kids. Cedric Cunningham is here and Tad Tokars if anyone has any questions, but I recommend approval.
Thank you, Superintendent Warwick. Any questions or comments? Hearing none?
I have a question. Mr.
Yes.
Naylor.
Vice Chairman Roll Naylor?
I would definitely like to hear from Mr. Cunningham, just to get a better understanding. I'm assuming it has something to do with the Afro-American history
Right.
class, but if you could just give us a little bit more context for those who are viewing.
Absolutely. So I teach African American Studies, and next year it's going to be AP African American Studies. Each year I always look for different endeavors to try and inspire my kids to take them out of Springfield to see something different. And I was very lucky that many of my MTA, so that's Massachusetts Teachers Association comrades, helped me to fund this venture in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and also helped me to find donors that could pay for this. So the whole trip is free. The airfare's free. Springfield Central High School is paying for the bus to the airport. The hotel is paid for, the food, so that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The kids will be missing 4 days of school, but they're going to be taking classes and workshops with hundreds of other students from all over the country. Team Harmony Institute, this is a nonprofit organization that brings high school students from around the country, and they're committed to educating, inspiring, and engaging youth against the battle of hate in all its form. Tulsa is also known as the Black Wall Street. That's what many people know it as, not just as the Tulsa race riot, but this gives the kids an opportunity to come and see a part of American history, learn from that, and also go back in their communities and teach people about awareness and also how to bring love and support for all people and make sure something like this doesn't happen again.
Thank you, Mr. Cunningham. Vice Chair Naylor?
Thank you. I appreciate that explanation.
My pleasure.
Ms. Gresham?
Yeah, I want to say thank you. That's a great opportunity for our students because seeing it and then reading about it in classroom add an extra compound to it. So it's a great opportunity for our students, and thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gresham. That was a PBS has done a tremendous documentary on that, the Black Wall Street. And what unfortunately happened many years ago in the 20s when they, the whole area was burned down. It was a very successful area, which has come back. But to be able, as Ms. Gresham says, to see it and know the history and learn the history so this doesn't happen again. But I think that's a great trip, Cedric, Mr. Cunningham.
Thank you.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I love it as a history buff myself, so I'd like to make the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Motion by Mr. Gonzalez. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Collins?
Just as Mrs. Gresham said, there's nothing like experiential learning. For those kids to be able to stand where this happened and be able to soak that in, there's nothing like that. And it's as valuable as any time they spend in school. It really is. So it sounds like a wonderful, wonderful experience for these young men and women. And I'll be glad to second it.
Motion by Mr., if there's no other comments, there was a motion by Mr. Gonzalez, second by Mr. Collins. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call a roll.
Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, vote is sufficient vote. This matter passes. Thank you. D is to approve an expenditure of $178,931 from Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, DESE, for FY 2023. This is to help support our Afghan refugees, support of our schools grant, which we, many who assisted us during the war on terror there, and unfortunately had to flee for their lives, and they helped us, and it's important that we help them. So Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Carrie Martins, our ELL director, is on, and she can give us a brief explanation of how the grant is going to be used.
Ms. Martin, Carrie?
Hi. So yeah, we have used the grant. We are proposing to add liaisons to help with the families that speak the language. They'll help them in the community. They'll help them with the bridge between school and home. we planned on purchasing them iPads with software on them to help assist them in English and translation. We'll be buying them book bags, filling them up with school supplies. We're actually going to fund part of a camp, Soccer Without Borders, for the week after school ends so that they can all participate in some sports. And buying some uniforms and creating a welcome center at Emergence Academy where the majority of our students attend, and then some supplies for staff so that they can welcome the students and families there.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Ms. Martin. Is there any questions or comments?
It's been through budget and finance. I don't know if
It got unanimous support. We did have robust discussion around all of these grants in the meeting, and it was valuable discussion. And yes, it got unanimous approval.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Any other questions or comments?
If
Attorney Murphy, yes.
Do we know how many Afghan refugees we have in the system?
Superintendent Warwick, how many?
I think Carrie could speak to that better than I.
Ms. Martin,
Carrie?
would you clear? I know we took a pretty good number in after the
52.
52?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
52, yep.
52.
And
And that's students. I don't have the number for all the families, but 52 students in Springfield Public Schools.
okay, and if you know, do they all speak the same language, or do they speak different dialects?
No, the majority speak Pashto, and then there are about 20 who speak Farsi. Most of them, it's Farsi, Persian, depending on where you are. It's the same dialect. And then the rest, Pashto.
Thank you, Ms. Martin.
Thank you.
If Attorney Murphy's done, Mr. Gonzalez, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think this speaks to the sensibility of the school department. You know, every time I've asked a question, it's like that's being done or innovative approaches are being taken. So I just want to thank Superintendent Warwick and the team for this. We did have great and in-depth conversations in subcommittee on this. So with that being said, I'd like to make the motion.
If there's no other questions or comments, motion by Mr. Gonzalez. Is there a second, please?
I'd like to second it, Mayor.
Second by everybody, I think. Take your pick, Patty. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, with a sufficient vote, this matter passes. Thank you very much. E is to approve the expenditure of $110,000, $690 from the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, DESE, 2023 High Quality Instructional Materials Implementation Grant. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. There's an informational piece in your packet on this, and Stefania Rochella will give us a brief overview.
Ms. Rochella?
Good evening. And so this is to support our secondary students and educators in mathematics. And we have Dr. Beatrice Johnson here that can speak on behalf of the grant.
Thank you, future Superintendent Rochella.
Yes, good evening, everyone. So the high quality instructional material grant from DESE is to support our high school math program. All the high schools are involved in this grant, and it is to support us in creating an implementation plan. With our Agile Mind resource, we currently have the resource, and the grant is to support us with professional development for our leaders and our educators. And the goal of this is to, continue with our goal of equitable math instruction and support our district priority number 1, which is focused on high quality instructional materials.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Just that
Mr.
when
Collins?
people use the backgrounds, it's nice to see that we have the great and powerful Oz in the, if you notice, she almost looked like a floating head in our math department.
And this went through budget and finance, so.
And it got unanimous approval.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. If there's no other questions or comments, motion made by Mr. Gonzalez. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Monroe Naylor. A roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient vote, this matter passes. Thank you very much. F is to approve an expenditure of $24,000 for the Tides Center for the FY 2023 Next Generation Learning Challenges Mission Vista Grant. Superintendent Ward, please.
Thank you, Mayor. This also went through subcommittee, but there's an informational packet in your materials on it, and Michelle Balch is going to give us a quick overview. The Tide Center is tied to the BAR grant, which we've got a lot to support the Portrait of a Graduate work.
Hi, thank you. This was to support 12 members, including students, school committee members, district leadership, teachers, to attend a Mission Vista in California to learn a little bit more about how they're engaging in the Portrait of a Graduate work and how they've aligned that work specifically for their district strategic plan.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Collins, or second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gresham. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient vote, this matter passes. Thank you. G is to approve an expenditure of $55,000 from Mass Hire Hampden County Workforce Board for the FY 2023 Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, DESE, Connecting Activities Grant. I have to say, Dave Cruz has been a great partner for many years, our retired personnel director for school department, but he's been a great partner, whether on the school side or on the city side, public or private workforce development. Superintendent Warwick?
Thank you, Mayor. There's an informational piece in your packet on this. Pam Matheson is here to talk about it. And I do want to just reiterate what the mayor said about Mass Hire and Dave Cruz just being an outstanding partner in moving this internship program forward. So now that we have this array of internships available, not only to our Putnam students with co-op, but throughout all of our high schools. So we're really excited about this. So Pam, if you're on, if you can give us a brief overview.
Pam, Ms. Matheson? I don't know if she's on.
She's on. I think she's having some technical difficulties.
Hi,
Pam,
Kim.
for filling in.
Thanks, Kim. Thanks for pinch hitting, Ms. Wells.
Pam, check your volume on that.
For some, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Hi,
sorry
Pam.
about that.
How are you?
It was still defaulted to my headset apparently, so I apologize.
That's okay.
So I just wanted to thank you, Superintendent and Mayor and the committee for reviewing this grant. This is another exceptional support through Mass Hire. Couldn't agree more around David Cruz's leadership and building capacity within our program. This STEM internship grant is through the Executive Office of Education to support STEM-related positions that are unpaid currently. It would allow us to do 30 100-hour positions. Due to the delay in I believe to the change of administration at the state level, got held up a little bit. So we've been able to get some allocation from additional students that we've been able to identify. So we'll actually be able to serve nearly 38 students between now and the end of the school year, and also be able to retro pay students that have been placed in unpaid positions starting in January.
Wow, that's not wonderful.
Pam, did you, just for clarification, 3,100 spots? Was that the number?
30. So the initial number was 30 slots for
30,
100
okay.
hours each.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Very good. And they learn and they get paid for it too. Very good. Any questions or comments with the superintendent or Pam, Ms. Matheson?
I have a question.
Yes, Vice Chair Monroe Naylor.
Is for the qualifications for students to participate or be eligible for these positions, can you clarify if there are any restrictions or any type of qualifications that they have to have?
So they just have to be a student in good standing, which they understand has to do with their attendance and their performance. Other than that, they just have to complete the necessary steps through the work-based learning plan, which includes an application and 2 letters of recommendation and approval from their supervisor.
Thank you.
That's wonderful.
All set? Vice Chair? Okay. Mr. Gonzalez, please.
I just wanted to make the motion when you're ready, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Does all the questions or comments? Motion made by Mr. Gonzalez. Is there a second?
So moved.
Second by Vice Chair Monroe Naylor. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, board is sufficient vote. This matter passed. Thank you very much. H is to approve the amendment to amend the agreement effective July 1st, 2022 by and between the City of Springfield, Sedesco Operations LLC, Article 6, Paragraph 6.9, guaranteed minimum return by deleting the words $2,900,000 in lieu of thereof, inserting the words $1,500,000. All other terms and conditions of the agreement not amended shall remain in full force and effect. And I will gladly turn this over to you, Superintendent Warwick, and probably Pat Roach.
Yeah.
For the explanation.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a memo in your packet on this, but I'm going to call Pat Roach to go through this with everyone.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So our contract with Sedexo is a cost of operations contract. So what that means is when Sedexo runs our program, it's supposed to generate a $2.9 million return. But with the cost of food inflation and the cost of labor inflation, we're having some really tough time between last year and this year. And I'm sure everybody knows when you go to the grocery store, how the cost of food is up. So we negotiated with Sedexo to reduce that guarantee to $1.5 million, and Sedexo has committed to manage the program without cutting any quality, which in our previous discussions with the school committee, that's everybody's desire, that our kids deserve fresh, healthy food, and we want to make sure that that's what they get at the end of the day. So by reducing the guarantee, Sedexo is going to be able to operate the program and continue without making any cuts to the program, which is what they would have to do otherwise. So I strongly support it and hope that you will too.
I think it's wonderful.
Thank you, CFO Pat Roach, and again, our sympathy, thoughts, and prayers on the passing of your father, loss of your father. Yeah, Mr. Gonzalez, question for Mr. Roach or Superintendent?
Just a comment, Mr. Mayor. I know that one of the questions as we went through this a couple times was surrounding the quality of the food, and this really is a way and an approach, and Pat tested to it, and Superintendent as well, so we don't diminish quality and we keep great quality food that we saw and we tasted at the site at Sedexo. So this is great.
I gear it by Vice Chair Monroe Naylor's children, who are all in the system as with Attorney Murphy's minor, older now. And when she says things are okay, things are okay. Am I right? You comment on it. Good. Okay.
No complaints. Good thing for us.
I had to work that in. Any other questions or comments?
This did go through
Mr. Collins?
Finance, Mayor, and it's just an acknowledgement of the same thing that we're all going through. Prices have gone up.
Everything.
And they're suffering through the same thing that we are. And so we're adjusting in an appropriate way.
Yeah. Just the price of eggs is astronomical. Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, there's a motion on the floor.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Gonzalez. Or second, please?
Second.
Second by Vice Chairman Monroe Naylor. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient vote. This matter passes. Thank you very much. I is to approve to transfer $1.4 million of carryover funds. Pat, I'm reading this for you now to be technically correct. 0301101-5999999- CON 11 to food service 0309840-580-600-CON 11 to cover the shortfall. So Pat, that was for you and Budget Chairman Chris Collins. I'll gladly turn it back over to Superintendent Warwick and
Thank you,
Mr.
Mayor.
Collins and Mr. Roach.
I'm going to kick this one to Pat also. One point I'd like to make is, as you can see, most of these items have gone through subcommittees, and the school committee does a tremendous amount of this work in the subcommittees. You don't sometimes see as much discussion and debate because all of that work has been done in the subcommittee. So people are just doing a great job on that, and that's why so many people understand what's going forward here. But I'll kick it over to Pat Roach.
Thank you. So yes, as the vote you just took to reduce the Sodexo contract guarantee by $1.4 million, we're requesting to move money from the carryover account, which is surplus funds from last year's operating budget, and to move it into the food service account, which will allow us to make sure on our side of the fence that we can continue with our renovations and our upgrades of food service equipment, so we can keep our program on track.
Thank you, Mr. Roach. Any questions or comments, Mr. Collins, at all?
No, this did go through, we got unanimous support. I'm glad that we're in a position to backfill this money because it maintains our improvements to kitchens and our staff. So I'm glad we're in that position where we can backfill it.
And I'm glad that Superintendent Ward clarified the chairman and chairwoman of the subcommittees, because a lot of work goes into that. I know for a fact they'll do 2-3 hours of subcommittee meetings. So when you see us just muscle through this whole thing, there's been sufficient background work being done on that. And I thank all the chairman and chairwoman of the subcommittees. Mr. Gonzalez?
Just want to make the motion, Mr. Mayor, so moved.
He's quick to the draw, all right. If there's no other questions or comments, motion made by Mr. Gonzalez. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Collins. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient votes, matter passes. Thank you very much. We'll now move to informational discussion items, and we already did A and B with Kaylee Rose Van Zant and the Paraprofessionals Proclamation 2. C, Pottinger Best Practices Update. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Ottinger has just made tremendous improvements, and credit goes to Sharonda Hector, the principal, and her team. But looking at the MCAS last year in English Language Arts, the scaled score moved forward in a positive direction to 493.6. And as you know, most schools in the state did not move in a positive direction last year. Student growth percentile increased by 30% in ELA, up to 54.4. In mathematics on the MCAS, a 491 and a gain of 9.1 on scaled score, and a 50.6 on student growth percentile, and an increase of 32.2%. So just incredible gains. In science, 490.6 and a plus 8.8. So you can really see by the gains where things were flat or actually went backwards throughout the state. Pottinger is really moving forward in a pretty significant manner. So again, credit all goes to Sharonda Hector and her team, and I'd like them to present now. So take it away, Sharonda.
Thank you, Superintendent Warwick.
Thank you so much. I'm going to share my screen.
Thank you, Principal Hector. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. So good evening, Mayor Sarno, Superintendent Ward, school committee members and guests. I can't tell you how excited I am to be here to represent Pottinger School and to share our best practices. Before I begin, I would just like to take the opportunity to publicly thank several people who has been instrumental in my leadership. CSO Collins, thank you so much for selecting me as an AP at Harris Elementary. Under your guidance and Principal Harris's guidance, I learned so much, and I was able to bring those tools with me as the principal at Pottinger. Superintendent Ward, thank you for trusting in me and appointing me as the principal of one of your elementary schools. I can't tell you how much I truly appreciate it. And I also appreciate the fact that you appointed one of the best principal mentors, Miss Margaret Thompson. She has been right by my side from the very beginning, and I truly appreciate her every single day. I would also like to acknowledge CSO Milner. CSO Milner answers my calls in the morning, in the afternoon, and late at night. She is an excellent actress because I never see that she gets tired of me, although I know she is, but she is always answering. So I truly appreciate her and her expertise. And I could not do this without her. Lastly, I would like to acknowledge the former principal, Ms. Valerie Williams, who was very instrumental in setting the tone of Pottinger Elementary. She set the foundation of excellence. And I am excited to continue in this walk of excellence at Pottinger. We have an enrollment of 395 students. I like to call them all my babies, and they know that. I often tell the parents they are my babies when school is in session, and I give them back at the end of the day. I love them. I attend their after school programs. I go to their sporting events. I want them to know that I absolutely love them. And that has a lot to do with their success. We serve students in pre-K through 5. 74.9% of those students are Hispanic. And although 97.8% are of the babies are deemed high needs, and 84.6% are of low income, we have high expectations and a very low tolerance for negativity. Our present circumstances will not stop us from achieving. Sorry about that. Let's get that. At Pottinger, it is not only an expectation, but it is a belief that we do our very best every single day. We do our best at building relationships with those babies. Not only do we build relationships with the students, we want to build relationships with the parents. The parents are a direct link to those students and to their success. We also want to build relationships to every stakeholder that participates in the lives of these students. Engagement, student engagement is very, very important, and we do not take it lightly. I want the teachers to be able to take those lessons and bring them alive and incorporate their heritage and their backgrounds, so that they will be able to then answer that question that every student asks, why? Why do I have to learn this? I want every one of my staff members, not just the teachers, to be able to step outside of their comfort zone, to make decisions and to be able to ask questions that they don't have answers to. It is not okay to be okay with not having an answer. We need to be able to step outside of our comfort zone, to ask questions, to work with each other, and to make it better just for the students and for the staff members. And lastly, we need to teach. We know that we do not have enough time in a day. So we value the time that we have, and we make it very useful every moment of the day. Our SIP focus this year, we sat down, and because, due to the pandemic, we realized that we were all affected by it. So one of our main focus was the parent and community engagement. We wanted to bring back the open door policy to invite the parents in, and it was very successful, and it continues to be successful. We want to invite our partnerships, we have an academic leadership mentoring program that's proven to be very successful with some of our students who need that extra love, not just in school, but after school hours and even on the weekends. We had a successful bingo for books night. Parents were out, they were smiling, students were happy, and that made the entire staff very, very happy as well. We have a math night coming up, and we are very excited to do that as well. Another focus was development staff collaboration through common planning time. Not only did we collaborate more and lean on each other, we wanted to also go outside the building and reach out to other colleagues. So we have a partnership with Kensington and Warner where we do lesson studies and we visit each other's buildings, and we want to make lessons more exciting for students. We also incorporated monthly grade level walkthroughs. We want the teachers to feel comfortable when we, as the leadership team, come into the classrooms, because they know me by now. I'm coming into the classrooms and I'm going to come in often. And it's not just for observations, it's to get to know the students, it's to get to know the teachers and make them feel comfortable. We want everybody to feel comfortable and know that administrators just don't come in when there's observation time. We are also continuously working on teacher culture responsiveness to increase our representation of different cultures. We want our babies to see that they have someone that looks just like them and want them to inspire them to be just like us. We are proud at the percentage of staff members diversity. We have 30.9, which exceeds the district goal of 20%. We will continuously work on that to make sure, again, that those babies see someone who looks just like them. We have to empower our staff. That's one of the main focuses, as well as a leadership team. We want them to utilize their strengths. Oftentimes, teachers get so boggled down within their classroom and that they don't realize that the person next door could be that person, could move them to the next level. So we empowered and pushed them out of their comfort zones to be able to run professional developments. We don't need to pay outside people to come in. We have the expertise right here in our building. And so I am proud to say that we've had at least 15 staff members step up to do professional development. It was absolutely wonderful. The feedback was amazing. We also empower, when we empower the teachers, that in turn empowers the students. We don't just empower the teachers, we want to make sure the students step out and show what they have. We have an amazing student council team ran by one of our paraprofessionals, by the way. We do not spread capacity just within the teachers, throughout the entire building. I want all hands on deck. That is the message that I send every day. We have students who do morning announcements. They plan and run school-wide events. They lead community circles with the entire school. My student council members do this once a month, and they lead it. We sit on the side and we allow them to take over, and the students love it. We also have cross-level grade buddies, where the fifth graders go down to the pre-K and they help tutor them and mentor them, and they love it. The little ones love it, and then the fifth graders love it. So we empower them to be a part. They do have a voice here at Pottinger. My senior leadership team, I push them harder than probably anyone else, because we have a position that is very important. The staff need to see that we are one, we have the same voice, and we have the same goal throughout the building. We meet weekly, we discuss and look at data. Data drives instruction, data drives decisions that we make within the building. And we then take that data to align in the coaching and see what we will need throughout within the school building to see how do we drive and move these students. Our Title I teachers are amazing. They know that data may change the course of the groupings that they may have next week. We don't keep an entire group for a marking period. If the data calls for a student to be moved into pushed to a higher level, we push that student to the new group. We don't just keep them there and wait for the marking period. The data drives instruction. Our leadership team also reflects on our weaknesses. We're not afraid to talk about it. We have to be able to have uncomfortable conversations to get to our goal, which is always student-centered. Students are first. ELA, as Superintendent Ward talked about, we are proud. We are very proud of the hard work. And this, again, is all hands on deck. This would not be able to be done if all hands were not on deck. Our strength at Pottinger, we are absolutely known for our writing. And narrative writing is an absolute strength here. Our third grade students scored 34% in comparison to the state of 24%. Our fourth grade students scored 52% in comparison to 34%. And our fifth graders scored 42% in comparison to the state. You might be asking, what's the secret? Well, tonight I'm going to share it with you. We incorporate writing into everything that we do. even within consequences of poor choices that student made. I need you to write about why that was not important for you to do at that particular moment. We write, and write. We create small group instruction, and it's fluid, as I stated before. Again, we don't wait until a marking period ends. We constantly look at that data. We constantly look at mastery checks and informal and formal assessments to drive where we need to take our students. Teachers create assignments using Schoology, which leads what helps our students understand technology, which is a part of the MCAS. We no longer do pencil and paper, so that helps them with manipulating the computer when it's time to take MCAS. We utilize resources in Ready Common Core as a supplemental tool when tutoring. And also, I think one of the other secrets that people really don't do, we tend to focus on those students who are either very high or very low. Well, we focus majority of the times on our bubble students. Those students are right there in the middle, and we try to see what it will take to move them to that next level. So we take pride in doing that. In math, we have strengths as well. Our third grade babies for last year was operations and algebraic thinking. They scored 69% in comparison to the state's 48%. Our fourth graders mastered the numbers and fractions. They scored 91% compared to the state's 77%. And then our fifth graders scored in numbers and operations, base 10, 83% compared to the state's 67%. Again, we're going to share with you the recipe. As stated before, we are not afraid to roll up our sleeves and do what we need to do with these students. We have a closed read protocol where we work on challenging problems with students. We meet and we talk about it with all hands on decks. Again, our paraprofessionals, I can't say it enough, as I've heard earlier this evening, they are the heartbeat of our building. They are. We don't have substitutes often. They are the substitutes, and they jump right in, all hands on decks. And I am so proud to have the paraprofessionals that we have in our building. Small groups and group instruction is very fluid, as I stated earlier, and we are not afraid to look at that data. Teachers work on standards, spiral review. We utilize that morning when they're coming in the morning, and we are building relationships and welcoming them in at the door at 8:30. Students are sitting down right away. They're having their breakfast, and we are working on some type of review. Again, every minute is very important at our school. So when you take all of these important factors and you add them up in no particular order, you will get success. And that's how we arrived at Pottinger success. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you allowing me the time to share our best practices.
Thank you, Principal Hector.
All right, tremendous.
And I am sure that school committee members and Superintendent Warwick want to comment and commend you, but I love when you say the babies. That just shows the caring and nurturing person that you are. So, school committee members, any questions or comments? Or Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to echo your words about this principal's approach and her lens and view of her students as her babies, and how it's important that she loves them and wants them to know that they are loved. There's a power to love that can't be measured in data, but our youth, our young adults, and our little ones, they know when they're in a safe place so that they can focus on learning. So thank you. It's a testament of the leadership of the school department that we have these great leaders that are able to lead in some of our schools and in all of our schools, rather. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Any other questions
Thank
or
you.
comments? I just wanted to say, Mr. Collins, go ahead.
Outstanding performance and just amazing performance. And listening to Sharonda, you could hear that there's a family there, that everybody is valued, that the students are valued, that each member of the staff is valued, and not just acknowledged, but their input is looked for. And that's the kind of atmosphere that creates the nurturing and the crucible where learning can take place. congratulate you for having that style of leadership and bringing people together, because as you can see, the benefactors are the students. Well done.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You see that passion, the family, our familia that you put across. We heard that also, and I know that was supposed to come up in a meeting that got canceled, the Chapter 74, Putnam Vocational Technical Academy, where they surpassed all of the state in any and all of their categories there. So we look forward to that presentation from Principal George Johnson. But again, the same thing, passion, and as Mr. Collins indicated, Mr. Gonzalez, family, our familia. It's everybody working together, and that passion and compassion is important, because when somebody knows that they're loved and cared about, and you know, a little tough love given, that you can succeed, and the family. So fantastic, Principal Hector. I don't, is there any other questions or comments?
I do have a comment, Mr. Mayor.
Vice Chairman Roll Naylor, please.
I just wanted to kind of go back to her slide where she talked about empowering students, and she talked about empowering her staff and how she is very student-centric in allowing students to have agency, have a space to advocate for themselves and be a part of the community and be heard and be seen. And the other thing that I loved is, as you talked about your family engagement, and then you talked academically about how you weave math and English into every single aspect of the work that you do. And I know we're going to talk about Mission Vista soon, but that was one of the things that really stood out to me. All of the things you talked about are the key points that stood out to me when I was on that trip as to why that school is so successful. And it's a no-brainer that when families are engaged and when students are engaged, they do better, they perform well. And so kudos to you and your team for making our young people feel valued and feel welcomed and heard and seen. And just keep doing the great work that you are doing. And I love to hear these kind of stories and have folks defy the odds. That, you know, people have expectations about people who come out of Springfield and what we can and can't do. And when we see these numbers and the kind of love that you have in your building and the compassion that obviously is felt amongst the students, this is what drives proficiency, compassion. So thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Roll Naylor. Any other questions or comments?
I would just like to
Superintendent Warwick?
congratulate Sharonda and her team for doing a great job. I think Latonia said it best. This is where we're going with Portrait of a Graduate. These are a lot of the concepts, and you can see in a lot of our building, those concepts are already alive and they're flourishing and they're working and making a difference. So Sharonda, very proud of you. Keep up the great work and congratulate your team for us.
Thank you, Mr. Wayne.
Thank you again, Principal Hector. D is a summary of the Mission Vista trip, and I'll open up with Superintendent Warwick, and I know we had school committee members that went to that. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. The Pottinger presentation was a great segue into the Mission Vista trip, because as Latonia said, a lot of the things we're working on in Portrait of a Graduate are live in some of our schools already, and quite honestly, helping us move forward. So we have a team that's going to talk about the Mission Vista trip. Latonia went on a trip and was part of the team and thought this would be a great item for the agenda, so we put it on. I think we're going to lead off with Michelle and have several people presenting on the Mission Vista trip. So Michelle Balls.
Hi, good evening, Mayor Sarno, distinguished school committee members, Superintendent Warwick, and the Springfield community. My name is Michelle Balch, and I had the pleasure of being the district lead on the Mission Vista trip. And I wanted to thank you for really allowing us the time and the space to share our experiences when we visited Mission Vista. There were 12 of us who joined about 80 other district leaders, school committee members, parents, and students to really learn about Mission Vista and how they're transforming teaching and learning. So as we continue, like everybody was talking about, to implement the district strategic plan and the work to really realize our portrait of a graduate, these experiences really allow us to share the great work we're doing in Springfield, to learn from others, and then to shape our work moving forward. So we had 2 students that joined us on the trip, and it was such an incredible experience. They did such a phenomenal job really showcasing and highlighting their positive school experiences, and they were truly the highlight of our trip and the highlight of everybody's trip there. So they did such an amazing job. I have a quick little presentation to go over a couple of the highlights for the trip, and then we will go and we'll hear out from the other people who attended. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So just a little bit about the trip. The purpose was really to learn from them and to hear about their experiences and to really unpack some of the things that we're doing through the Portrait of a Graduate. And that's really building those relationships and reimagine schooling. So we went from March 13th to the 15th. And like I said, we were a part of a bigger group of teachers, students, parents, community members, district leadership, school committee members that joined us. And before we went on the trip, we actually there was 4 coaching sessions that we did. We had to create a portfolio while we were there. We all participated in a learning walk at Renaissance before we went to calibrate and to sort of identify the things that we were going to be looking for on this trip. So,
hi, yes, I'm reporting.
When we were there, I'm gonna share I'm gonna have everybody sort of give a little bit of a share out on what they saw while we were there. But basically, when we were creating our portfolio, these are sort of the high level things that we saw. And Principal Coburn led us through an amazing skit where we demonstrated the great work that we're doing in Springfield and also what we saw there. So if I could ask Allison Stoddard, who is a Renaissance school counselor, share a little bit about what you saw while you were there.
Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Allison Stoddard, a school counselor from Renaissance. One of the big takeaways from Mission Vista was the student-centered approach and the self-directed learning. At Mission Vista, they had a variety of courses available for students, and they called them their pathways. That was their structure, and it was a unique way for students to kind of build in that career readiness and college readiness to their life after high school. One of the great things about the trip, and Michelle said it before, was just being able to bring the students with us. I think when we think of Portrait of a Graduate, we really focus on building those relationships with the students and working with Kelsey and Isaiah, our 2 students who came, being able to build the relationships with them and them to kind of see the work that we're doing in the school level at Renaissance, but also district-wide was really great. So yeah, part of our trip.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Principal Coburn.
Hi, yes. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to our mayor and to our superintendent and school committee members. I first want to start off by saying thank you to everyone who organized this. It was definitely a pleasure and a huge opportunity to go see the work. But one of the pieces that I want to just elevate is the fact of what we saw in Mission Vista was very consistent with the work currently happening in Springfield to leverage student voice and build relationships. So that was really affirming to see that. The takeaway that I had was the way Mission Vista created pathways for students. So they really have done a nice job thinking about what life looks like after students graduate from their school and how their different pathways allow students to secure their dreams. Which is, again, very aligned to the work that's happening with Portraits of a Graduate. And so I definitely want to celebrate the work that we're doing with POG. And so those were my takeaways.
Thank you, Principal Colbert. Thank you, Ari.
Principal Stella?
Good evening. Thank you for having me. This was a wonderful opportunity to get to see the Portrait of a Graduate in action. Coming from an elementary school, it's really sometimes difficult to see like what happens years later after the students leave you. So it was really powerful to not only be able to get into schools, because we've been like kind of school bound for many years now because of COVID. So to be able to get into another school, especially a high school that has done a lot of work in regards to essentially mapping and organizing out their pathways for their students and the end game for them was really an amazing experience. And talk about bring your kid to work day. That was like a whole nother level of being able to expose your child to school construction and development. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. The Kendall Jr.
Good evening. A big takeaway I had was that a lot of teachers were interested in what they were teaching, and that definitely reflected on how the students accepted what they were teaching. Like when the teachers were in it, they were in it, and they were teaching at a level where it was, this isn't just, oh, you're learning this. It was, you're learning this because there's a job for you available after this. And a lot of the kids bought into that, and it was really nice to see.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'm going to turn it back over to Vice Chair Latonia.
Thank you. So there were a few things that I kind of already mentioned that were really phenomenal about the trip. And all around, I would just say the excitement in the students' faces, like they were all eager to learn and they were all so engaged. We did have one class that we went into and we were like, okay, they're not perfect, but overall it was really nice. And so I did make a few notes of some things that were not already mentioned that really stood out to me as well around creative learning. And so one of the things that stood out was that they had ASL as a foreign language. And so a lot of our students, when we think about inclusion and equity, having our students be able to learn sign language is really something that is, you know, phenomenal. And so they had it listed as a foreign language opportunity for students, and they were able to take that. Another one that stood out was that they had financial algebra. And so it was a regular algebra class, but they implemented financial literacy and financial awareness into the class. So it was mandatory that all of the students would take it, but they all would learn some level of financial literacy within that class. And so they could see how algebra related to the rest of the world and the things that they're going to do in the future, to one of the students' points earlier of making it feel like, you know, whatever they're learning in the classroom is applicable to real life. And the third thing that stood out for me is that they had a lot of clubs. And so every student in the school had a caring adult that they would acknowledge, who they had a relationship with or a trusting relationship with, so that each child was connected to an adult in case there were a need for them to talk to someone. But also, they had crew. So they had crew that was established as part of the system where they would be able to connect with their crew teacher, but they also had this extra layer of protection and connectedness where they were able to engage with and identify that there's a caring adult. And along those lines was the engagement in their clubs. And so all the students were involved in some type of club. And the club that stood out to me the most was the TEDx club. And so students were learning about public speaking and research and all of that. And here's this fun club that they're super excited about. And they get on stage and they do a TEDx talk for us. And they have their microphone on and everything with the spotlight. And it was so surreal. And they were just so smart. And I just loved it. And the thing is, to Principal Coburn's point, we are doing these things in our district in pockets. You know, you can see these things happening. And Renaissance is doing a phenomenal job. Putnam, Principal Johnson is doing a lot. So I could see a lot of the relationship between some of the things that we're doing and that we want to do through POG. So it was affirming, but it was also at the same time, exciting because there's a lot more opportunity for us to explore. Thank you.
Vice Chairman Ron Naylor. Mr. Gonzalez, you were there too, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just echoing the words of everyone that spoke on the Mission Vista trip. I think it was a great learning experience, and I wanted to thank and shout out to Michelle. She made sure that we were all on the bus at 7 a.m. She made sure we were all on the bus when we left the school every day. So thank you for taking care of everything behind the scenes to make it smooth for everybody who participated. And in regards to the actual content of the trip, one of the sessions in the library at this high school in California, I went over to Principal Coburn and I said to her, I said, wow, you guys should really be proud of what you guys are doing in our city, because a lot of what we saw in California is happening at Renaissance. So overall learning experience, be able to connect with other school committee members across New England. But again, it was a good thing to see that we're doing a lot of best practices here at home. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. If there's any other questions or comments for Superintendent Warwick?
Mr. Mayor, I just want to say.
Ms. Gresham, yes.
Thank you. Seem like we as a district are a little bit ahead of everybody else, because it sounds like we're doing things that
Correct.
they haven't really implemented yet. So that makes me feel good and grateful about that. And I'm glad we had good representation here.
Thank you, Ms. Gresham. Any other questions or comments?
Just would like to
Superintendent Warwick.
recognize the Bar Foundation, who's been a partner with us with this whole process, a great partner. They've put $500,000 into this program, providing support with us because they believe in where the Portrait of a Graduate is going. But Bar Foundation has been with us from the start, and I just want to give them a shout out.
Thank you very much, Superintendent Warwick. E is the iReady mid-year data review. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. We always look at formative assessments during the year to make sure our kids are moving along in the right direction and to make course corrections so we can move the district forward. And iReady is a program we use for that. It's by Curriculum Associates. Stefania Urshila, our Chief Instructional Officer, is going to take us through that data. You're going to see some of the gaps that have occurred due to the pandemic, but there's a recovery going on and the schools are moving forward. But I'm going to turn it over to Stefania to make the presentation. And there's a piece in your packet on this.
Thank you, Superintendent Warwick.
Thank you, Superintendent and Mayor. And so, as the superintendent said, we use iReady in the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and then we'll do an end of the year. And we use it with all kindergarten through 8th grade students in math and ELA. And there we go. So we're going to look at reading first, but one important piece is that when you look at the colored bars, you'll see a dark green for mid or above grade level, a lighter green for early on grade level, a yellow for grade 1 grade level below, and then red is 2 or 3 grade levels below. But it's really important to note that the yellow bars mean that students can access grade level curriculum. And so we aren't watering any of the curriculum or standards down, that they have access to that. We tested in K through 12 over 10,000 students in the fall and over 10,000, almost 11,000 students in the winter. And it's important to have those two data points in order to do the comparison. When we compared this year's fall to winter, you can already notice from the beginning of the year to the midpoint in January, how we decreased the students that were 2 to 3 grade levels below, and how we increased students that were at the mid or early on grade level. This goes through grade by grade in comparison. You can notice that in kindergarten, we have really increased the students that are on grade level compared to the 11% that we started with. And as the grades move through, there has been a decrease in students that are 2 to 3 grade levels below, as well as an increase at students that are on grade level. Our middle school data in reading, as we know, as the pandemic hit, these students some of them were in elementary school, our younger ones, and it was a challenge for everyone to be at home, but we are showing recovery in those grades also. When we look at relative placement from 1920, which was prior to the pandemic, to now, this is where we can see the recovery. We knew that last year our students were behind, but we are coming back to where we were prior to the closure of schools. So once again, this compares prior to the pandemic to this past year. And in some grades, for example, if you look at grade 1, we are where we were prior to the pandemic. So as we know, it's easier to catch students up when they're younger because there are less gaps. And so as we had looked at this data during the pandemic, we did adjust what we were doing in reading and ELA to support students especially in the areas of phonics and phonemic awareness, to make sure that they had those strategies in order for them to be able to read. Here's our middle school data in reading. Once again, it has not caught up yet, but it is on its way. This slide shows the different domains that are measured in the assessment. So there's the domains of phonological awareness, high frequency words, phonics, vocabulary, comprehension in literature, and then when we look at comprehension with informational text. And so that really dark green bar shows where we've gone up more than 5 percentage points over the past year. And as I said, we have adjusted our practices to really focus in on the phonics and the phonemic awareness, because we know that is a predictor of comprehension in the future. And so we have made great gains in those areas. This is our placement and distribution as far as when we're looking at the growth of students, because we are looking for continuous growth. And then we look at usage. So the expected time is to do at least 30 minutes in reading and in math. And so we are able to track. And then another important piece are the lessons passed, because if you're on it and you're not doing what you need to do and you're not passing the lessons, the minutes on there aren't going to matter. The next piece of data is math. Once again, similar numbers. We tested around 10,600 at the beginning of the year, and in January, it was almost 10,900. When we look at placements from fall to winter, you will see the increase in the amount of students that are at mid or above grade level and early on grade level, as well as a large decrease in the students that are 2 to 3 grade levels below. Looking across the elementary grades, from fall to winter. Really looking at K, that's a very large percentage of students that have moved from mid or above to the early on grade level. Looking at the third grade students that have increased. In the third grade, there was a large decrease in the students that were 2 to 3 grade levels below. Middle school also, there was a decrease in the students 2 to 3 grade levels below, as well as an increase of the students that were mid or early on grade level. This is comparing our math data prior to the pandemic to now. And you will notice, yes, we did increase in 21-22 when we were back in session. And now we've started to decrease and slide back towards where we were prior to the pandemic. Looking at data prior to the pandemic, you can see that our kindergarten data is just about where we were prior to the pandemic. And so we do see that recovery that the superintendent was talking about. Are we there yet? No, but if we continue on this trajectory, by next year, we will see numbers that were prior to the pandemic. Here's our middle school math data. And here, once again, when we show that dark green percentage, the domains are different in math. We're looking at number and operations, algebra and algebraic thinking, measurement and data, and geometry. And you will notice that in algebra and the algebraic thinking in K and 1, we have had a very large increase. When we look at numbers and operations in 3rd and 5th grade, we've increased more than the 5 percentage points, and the measurement and data standard in 3rd and 4th grade. When we look at our annual typical growth, because we want students to be growing even though they haven't hit the target, we are meeting the projected growth. And then once again, the minutes being used, as well as the percentage of lessons passed. And so you can see, particularly in the 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, that the passage rate is in the 90s. And that's it. If anyone has any questions, I'm more than willing to answer them.
Thank you, Ms. Rochelle. Thank you, Stefania. Any questions or comments?
I have a few questions.
Vice Chair Monroe Naylor, please.
Because Stefania, can you share with the data that you provided to us? It talks about like the levels of students and the number of students engaged. Are students self-led as far as their progress with iReady, like the mandated requirement for how much they have to take per week, or is it like they can do it at home or whatever the case may be?
So Latonia, it could be twofold. So iReady and Ready Math at the elementary school is designed to be a whole class lesson, and then they break up into groups where the teacher has a group and students are in a rotation. And one of the rotations a few times a week is supposed to be on the iReady intervention piece or acceleration piece, because there's also students that are performing well above. And when you take that assessment, it places you where you should be. And so some students are below in specific domains and some are above, so it places you. But students that bring home their computers, and we were lucky enough to actually purchase Ready Math and iReady prior to the pandemic, that is something that can also be done at home. And so depending if the students are taking home their computer or not, they do have access to complete the minutes at home. But in math, it is designed to be part of the math block.
Okay, thank you. And with the students that have, I'm trying to be careful of how I question this. With the students that are self-guided, I guess is what I would say, are you able to account for any students who may not be completing their hours at all or not engaged at all?
So yes, there's actually a few flags. So we all know that there's students that are happy clickers that are clicking away on there. And so it does flag them. You can have a red flag, a yellow flag. And if you're clicking away, it will shut down questions and the teacher has to go in and reassign it. So you are able to see at the teacher level, at the principal level, and at the district level, we can dig all the way down to the student level or the classroom level or the teacher level to see exactly what's going on.
Okay, thank you. And I have one final question. Is there an ability to switch up the settings where the speed of the voice or something like that, or even muting the voice? And I asked that question, that third question, because I've had students that have told me that they don't like the voice of the iReady and that it makes them irritated or sleepy when they hear it talking very slowly like this all the time. So they do not like that, and so it therefore irritates them and they don't want to deal with it. And so I wonder if there's a way that some of those settings can be adjusted to make it a little bit more upbeat. I mean, it's a computer, but I know that I'd be kind of frustrated if I had to wait 5 minutes for it to read something that should only take 2 minutes.
So Latonia, I can get back to you on that question. I don't know if that can be shut off. But at the same time, Curriculum Associates has been very responsive to any time we've asked for adjustments, changes, improvements. And so if it doesn't, that is something we can suggest to them and they can work on it.
Thank you. I think that would be phenomenal. I know that when we first picked iReady, there was a lot of reasons why we picked it even before the pandemic, because we really thought that it would do exactly what you're talking about. And so looking at the data of success, I think that's phenomenal. But I definitely think about those students who remind me that, you know, learning is supposed to be fun. And because of the world that we live in now, they're always on technology. So sometimes they're like, it actually... whereas before it was fun to be on a computer, now it's like annoying because it seems like everything is on a computer now and everything's virtual and all that kind of stuff. And so as we continue to navigate how we include folks, especially our students, and keeping them excited about learning, I wanted to make sure I advocated on their behalf. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Vice Chair Monroe-Naylor. Any other questions or comments of Ms. Rochilla? Ms. Gresham, please.
Ms. Rochelle, is parents able to help the child maneuver through this with the computer?
So they could if they're doing it at home. The issue is, so they can help them with the technology piece, but if they're helping them respond to the questions, it may adjust how hard or easy the questions are that start to show up, because it does change based on how a student responds to the questions. So it depends on how much support they're giving them.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gresham. Any other questions or comments of Ms. Rochella? Okay, thank you, Stefania. Hearing none, we'll now move on to reports of standing committees. A is Student Relation Parent Concerns. Ms. Gresham.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. We had an informational session on Monday with respect to mental health. And as we all know, mental health is an issue locally and nationally concerned. So I would first like to thank Dr. Yolanda Johnson and her team for a great presentation that they did on Monday. And our goal is to build and strengthen the bridge between school and community with respect to the resources available to our students and family. And the superintendent has assured us that these resources will be readily available and easily accessible on our website, school website. And we're all here to support our students when they need these resources.
Thank you, Ms. Gresham. Any questions or comments? I just wanted to thank Ms. Gresham because we were contacted, and I hope that group that spoke before us, because we did reach out to them,
right,
participated in that meeting of everything we had to offer. And I thank you for calling that meeting so we could expound on all the things we do offer to help our students on it. But I hope they participated on. I know the youth mental health group did reach out to them too on it. So, but thank you for facilitating that.
And they were present too. At the
Good,
meeting.
good,
Yeah,
okay, good.
The students were not present, though.
The students weren't
The
present?
students were not present.
not the
Their
students.
office is closed on Easter Monday, so they were not able to come.
All right, well,
But,
I know they were getting the information. I know the youth group. Okay, good. Thank you, Ms. Gresham. Any questions or comments, Ms. Gresham? Thank you for facilitating that meeting. Clarifying. All right, hearing none, we'll move to Buildings Maintenance Committee. Mr. Collins, please.
Well, the projects are all moving along well. The surprise came last night during Budget and Finance when Pat said that they anticipate to have the field, the new Plum Field, in the fall?
Yes. well,
That is amazing.
We're very hopeful. I was out there a couple of weeks ago, and Pete Garvey and team are doing a great job. We're very hopeful to have that, so you'll have a secondary field to the quality of a Central High School. And the Central, as you know, Mr. Collins, Central High School, the other fields are getting all done too. We're getting those all done. So knock on wood. Let's see, supply chains and material demands, but we'd like to get the field part done.
And between that and another role I'm on conservation, the enhancements that they're doing in Blunt Park, the amount of outside activity for adults in the whole community is going to increase significantly in the next 6 to 8 months.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Collins. Any other questions or comments pertaining to Mr. Collins' report? Okay, hearing none. Legislative Contracts Committee, Mr. Gonzalez, please.
Nothing to report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. D is Curriculum and Programs Committee, Ms. Hurst, please. Say again, Curriculum Programs Committee, Ms. Hurst. Okay, one last time, Curriculums and Programs Committee, Ms. Hurst. Not available. E is Budget and Finance Committee, Mr. Collins.
We had a rather lengthy meeting last night where we went through in detail the draft budget. It will be, if it wasn't today, it'll be in the next day or so, available for the public to peruse through in anticipation of our meeting that we'll have next week. So we're right where we want to be at this point in time.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Any questions or comments pertaining to Mr. Collins' report? Okay, hearing none. Vocational Education Committee, Attorney Murphy. Peter?
Thank you, Mayor. We haven't had, there's no report on the committee, but we did have the Chapter 74 meeting, and we learned all the great things that are happening in Putnam and how really fantastic Putnam is. As you know, it's always been a good school, but it's gotten so much better under the leadership of Principal Johnson and his staff. And so that was a great meeting, and Putnam is just a fantastic school.
Thank you, Attorney Murphy. Any questions or comments pertaining to Attorney Murphy's report? Okay, hearing none. G is Technology Committee, Vice Chair Monroe Naylor, please.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Chair Monroe Naylor. H is School Safety Committee, Ms. Gresham, please.
Mr. Mayor, we have a meeting coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, Ms. Gresham, through you, and I know you're working with Mr. Gonzalez, too, to indicate, well, you have the meeting come, everything we do, and again, I think we're ahead, knock on wood, we're ahead of the curve when it comes to keeping our students and staff and teachers safe and sound. So thank you both for facilitating through Ms. Gresham that meeting coming up. Any questions or comments pertaining to that, Ms. Gresham? Okay, hearing none. I is Diversity, Equity, Inclusion. Ms. Hurst, please. Say again, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, Ms. Hurst.
She's not logged in on Zoom right now.
One last time, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, Ms. Hurst. Okay, unavailable. Thank you. We'll move to Student Representative, the School Committee. I don't know if Jaylene Hernandez is still on. She was from Central January to March, or if the new Student Representative is on, if we received notification of that. But if not, Jaylene, we want to thank you for your time on the school committee. We'll get an update from Principal Tokars of who the next student representative is to close out the year from April through the end of the year. Okay. Report of the superintendent. Superintendent Warwick.
Thank you, Mayor. There's some items in your packet on this. There's a nice article on our Sodexo Future Chefs Challenge, which they ran, and this is the 12th year. That doesn't seem possible that we've been involved in this, but we had some students participating and some winners. So, it was a great event, as it always is. Jawad Lavender from Putnam, grade 5 student, won the competition, first place with his eggplant fries. Sandra Knighton from Kensington, grade 4, came in second with her strawberry dumplings. And Audrey Berthium from Beale, grade 4, zucchini butter. So congratulations to the winners. Jawad is moving on to the regional finals. So it's a great competition. I've been there for several years with it. It's just a lot of fun. The kids do a great job. And Sodexo, like I always say, has been a great partner. The overall attendance, student attendance in the district has been improving. At this point in the year, last year we were at 88.4%. It's up to 90.4%, so a 2% gain, which we're very happy with. Chronic absentee rate was at 46.4% last year. It's down to 36.8%. So again, moving in the right direction. And severely chronically absent was at 15.7 last year. It's down to 10.4. So the attendance is clearly moving in the right direction. We're on a path. We're not where we were before the pandemic, but we're moving in the right direction. I included a piece in your packet about the 50th celebration for the Clifford Faniff Environmental Center at Echoes in Forest Park. April 29th from 10 to 1, they're going to have an event there, so there's an invite to all the school committee members. Echoes has been a program that's been part of Springfield now for 50 years, and our kids love the Echoes program, and it's got a great history, so I encourage people to go to that event. I went to an event this morning over at Harris School where Gary Rome Kia, another great community, corporate citizen community partner, passed out 300 literacy kits. Reading is fundamental through Kia to our kids at Harris School, so they have reading materials. And it was great being at the event, just watching the kids excited about the books and reading them in the library. The kids were just fabulous, as they always are. And this week, yesterday, our team from Springfield that put the preschool program together presented strategies for children statewide, which is working on increasing universal preschool. And the presentation went great, and we got rave reviews on it. So again, we're way ahead of what other people have been able to do in the state on that. That concludes my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Superintendent Warwick. Any questions or comments, Superintendent Warwick's? Okay, hearing none. Is there any unfinished business? Hearing none. Is there any new business?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to ask a question of our public proceedings. I know that there was an email that Attorney Phelps had sent in regards to public meetings and online on the state law. And I just want to know what's preventing this body from hosting the folks that are doing speak outs and the student reps from presenting in person. I know that the other legislative body in the city has been hosting folks hybrid, in person and on Zoom. So I don't know where that authority lies and why we're not practicing that.
I think it's a great question, and Vice Chair Naylor has already taken that on, because we're going to put that up for discussion on the 27th at the next meeting.
Get a consensus.
So we're working on that, and we want to talk about that. But I agree with you, but Vice Chair Naylor's been all over that and is putting it forward for a discussion. And that would be a decision of this body. So it's up for a discussion on the 27th to deal with.
Superintendent, I was unaware.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Superintendent Warwick, thank you, Vice Chair Monroe Naylor, because I getting the point in time that if we get consensus about getting people back in, and maybe it still could be a hybrid component if needed, but we'll get consensus on that. Any other new business? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Vice Chairman Monroe Naylor. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Gresham. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst, absent. Attorney Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
Ms. Gresham,
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor,
Yes.
Mayor Sarno.
Yes, more than sufficient vote, this matter passes. Good evening, thank you for watching, and have a great spring vacation. God bless.